Okay, so today is all about perspective. It's all about understanding why you do the things you do and why you don't do the things you do. Now, I want you to think about something. All of the things that you've been through in your life, two things in particular, your relationship that didn't work out. Understand, I live by a certain philosophy. People are in your life for a reason or a season. So just because the person whom you thought you would be with for the rest of your life broke your heart doesn't mean that that's necessarily a bad thing. I always live by the mantra, if you decide not to be with me, I want to thank you for that, because you just made room for somebody who will actually care and love me for who I am. So thank you so much. Also, you taught me how to have tough skin when it comes to my heart. Not that I'm going to be selfish when it comes to giving my love out, doing all the things that I do for people, but it's going to be a thing where I understand who I am as a result of what you've done. So because you left me, thank you. Second thing, career. I'm pretty sure everybody here at some point got fired from a job. Raise your hand if that's you, right? So what that means is this. They didn't see your greatness enough to keep you on their job. Now, granted, when I was young, I was not great. I did a bad job. I worked at Nathan's and I burned all the food. That's just a sample of what I went through, right? As an employee. So I see why they fired me. However, as I got older and started learning how to become a better employee, I realized my worth. They didn't, but I did. So if I did get fired or I got laid off or something happened that would not have me work there anymore, I see that as a blessing. Because if I stayed at that job, I wouldn't be the entrepreneur or marketer that I am today, because that will be my cushion and that will be my downfall to my potential. Hopefully you guys can follow that. Because they got rid of me, it gave me permission to be a better entrepreneur. And I thank them for that. So I settled that to say this. In order for you to understand why things happen to you, is because you have to evolve at some point, whether it's understanding the importance of being diligent in what you're doing, whether it's learning the importance of maybe I need to shut my mouth a little more and pay attention to, the person who I'm with. Maybe it's just to increase your listening skills so that you can actually hear what's happening around you to become better at whatever you're doing. So it's very, very important for you to understand that. Second thing, you must understand the power of failure. There's so much power in failure if you have the right mindset for it. There are people who fail in whatever they do, and at that point they give up. Those are the people that will never succeed in just about anything, because they could do whatever it takes, but once they get to the point where it becomes too hard for them, or they get too many no's in their business, or something, the product wasn't right, or whatever can happen inside the entrepreneurial spirit, they give up because they think, well, that's just what it is. First of all, I hate that term. It is what it is. I hate that. That's like, when I hear that, I just want to, But what I will say is things are going to happen. And just because it happens to you doesn't mean that the world is against you. If you hit the lotto for $1 million, but in order to get the $1 million, you had to pick two people to give $100,000 to, because the lotto was called Pay It Forward, right? You have two people to pick. Are you going to pick the high school student that doesn't respect money, that is going to go crazy and buy all kinds of sneakers, video games, and everything? Or would you give it to somebody who has been through hardships, who understands and respects money, and knows how to utilize money to grow? Obviously, the latter. So when I say to you that when things happen to you, is not just for you to fail, it's for you to develop and mature into the person that can utilize money correctly, that can give an opportunity to people, that has the knowledge and the power and the foresight because they've been through it. So every failure is nothing more than an experience that you're going to utilize to better yourself and evolve as an entrepreneur, as a human being, as a wife, as a husband, as anything that you put your mind to. Now, unfortunately, there are two kinds of people in this world. And I'm going to use myself in this example. I had a very good friend named Chris. Chris and I decided to do the martial arts together. We're going to join the school. We're going to go ahead, get our black belts, and maybe open up a school together. That was our mindset. Together, we're going to do it. So the day we went in to the dojo and spoke to the Shion Joto Torres, which is my Shion. Shion is like the highest level grandmaster inside Aki Jiu-Jitsu. So when I talked to Shion for the first time, he was like, listen, there's going to be a minimum, before you get your black belt, a minimum 7 years. You're going to go from white, yellow, green, purple, brown, candidate black to black. That's 7 years. You're going to hurt more than you've ever hurt before. You're going to, stuff's going to happen to you. Stuff's going to break on you in the process. I was like, my mindset, I want that black belt. So whatever the journey is going to be, that's what I'm going to do. My boy was like, wait, 7 years, hurt all the time, I'm out. And he literally got up and went out. I mean, after being embarrassed, I kind of understood where his mind was. Today, I understand because I've done a lot of research and a lot of reading on the mental capacity. So because of that, there are two kinds of people. People that will look at the goal, or people that will look at the process to the goal. Now, because I looked at the goal, I got my black belt. I had a school in the Bronx. It was called the Samurai Academy. And because of that, because my mindset, I was able to not only get my black belt and become a second degree and open up a school, but the students that I have taught have went on to become better because what I went through. And it's very important for you to understand that in order for you to be the person that, one, God or the higher power, whatever you believe in, called you to be, you just have to always think of the end result. And I'm going to tell you this right now. As an entrepreneur, the success you're going to get, the money, the cars, the nice house, the good marriage, the security, financial security, is only a byproduct of being a better entrepreneur. Because once you're a better entrepreneur, you get to then become a blessing to people that are in need. I want you to think about something very deeply. As I say this, I want you to visualize it. Right now, there are people, or there's somebody that just lost their job. Right now, there's somebody that's sitting at the edge of their bed. That are going through something, whether it's feeding their family, whether it's figuring out how to pay for a funeral, whether it's just how to get out of the funk that they're in. And right now, by you being who you are the person that can help them. You are the person that has been through all the onslaughts of being a entrepreneur, as being a giver, as being a blessing, so that when you meet that person, you're equipped. You're equipped to make a difference in that person's life. And I guarantee that if you do that, if you start from today and start reading books on how to market, start understanding your craft, whatever that may be, understanding your place in humanity, and prepare yourself so that when you meet that person that's begging for change, that has no other alternative because they believe they've exhausted every possibility of bettering their life. If you're not well equipped to be in that place where you can be a blessing. You're doing a disservice not only to you, but to everybody else that you would have helped had you not given up, had you not gotten your black belt in your business, had you not suffered the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune to become better. You have to go through it. And you have to understand that everything that you went through, every downfall, every heartbreak, every time you got fired, every time somebody said you're not good enough, every time somebody told you they didn't believe in you, every time that somebody said something that was meant to pull you down and you didn't listen to it and you strived anyway, means that you have a lot to give. See, I'm getting emotional, so I need a tissue. Okay, so what this meeting today is just to say one thing. You are much stronger than you think you are. There's nobody on this call that hasn't been through something terrifying or monumental or felt that at that point they couldn't move forward and they couldn't get past it. But somehow you did. Somehow you made it through. And somehow, hopefully, you decided to use that adversity as a way to evolve. So that not only can you stand firm in the knowledge that you have experienced something that bad, but you can be an icon of the possibility of success, the possibility of change, the definite understanding that this is not the end for you. Because as long as you breathe, as long as you can get out of that bed in the morning, and as long as you can face another day, you can always change whatever it is you're thinking about. So think of every adversity that you have been through, are going through, and will go through as a way to evolve and be excited about that. I know it's kind of a weird thing to say, but as you get more excited about what's happening, it means you understand the power that is going to be given you. So that when somebody has $1 million and has to give you 100,000, you are ready to utilize that blessing because you've been through it. And because you've been through it, you can evolve. And because you can evolve, you can then be a blessing. And when you become a blessing, that's when everything makes sense. If I didn't get fired from the jobs that I had, I wouldn't sought out to be an entrepreneur. And because I sought out to be an entrepreneur, I sought out how to be a better marketer. And then when I sought out how to be a better marketer, I went ahead and found companies that I can utilize my now God-given gifts because now I know better. And once you understand that you know better, the growth is immediate. People are going to be drawn to you because there's going to be something about you that they feel. From a show of hands, have you ever seen somebody just in the distance, maybe at luncheon or something, but there was just something about that person that was like, wow. Anybody experienced that before? Raise your hand if you did. Excellent, all right. That's who you want to strive to be. That's when you walk into a room, you want all eyes on you, baby. Because that's how I feel. When I go into a room and I go into a networking, whatever, I stand like I own the place. I walk around like, yeah, you all need my services. I'm here for you. I walk in the faith that I've been through it. I evolved. Now I'm here to serve. And serving is the best thing you could ever do for yourself. This has been the meaning of perspective.